All right. You
Yeah,
record now?
yeah, we're recording. You be
All
grilling,
right.
ball grilling,
Ball curling,
and
Jeff.
when your
I
mic
mean,
come in, you'll be Super Saiyan 1. You'll be the best here. But my mic is not in its final transformation. I got one more level.
you won't even be able to see my mic though. Like y'all setup is better than mine. So while my mic may be the best, like my setup is just like it's
Oh,
very
okay.
bland.
Yeah, Jaden was making faces yesterday when I started saying Chris Evans is a C-rated actor. But
He
I said
wasn't.
when he first
Yeah,
started,
first started, he was a C
he was a
rated. Nobody
C-rated
knows who he was.
actor. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
can agree
fun.
with that.
yeah,
Yeah. Cause
yeah. He became the top guy after
yeah.
after Captain America,
Yeah, because too
which
many people just fan
and
casting
nobody
a
even
whole bunch of A-listers, so it
yeah,
don't make
and,
no
and nobody
sense.
even liked him when he feel like, oh no, he's gonna play Captain America. He's too funny. He's just a funny guy. Same thing happened with Heath Ledger and Joker. Same thing happened with
You had to
Gavin
talk me into
Williams.
it. You talked me into it.
Oh, you talk about
Chris
the
Evans. You
the
talked
Chris
me into
Evans thing.
Chris
Oh yeah, you
Evans,
talked about it all those
and
years ago. I'm like, man, he
I
gonna
was
be all
like,
right, man.
yeah,
Yeah, just he gonna gain some weight. He gonna be all right.
he'll
He
be all
has,
right. He was.
yeah, yeah.
Chaney's
So
Got a Gun was just playing in everybody's head. That's what that was.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. Not another teen movie. Him, with whipped cream on his nipples and stuff
oh
is what
Lord.
everybody remembered him as. So, all right. So,
Now I have Mike saying nipple on video. And now you have me. Dope.
yep, that's it.
Dope.
So,
So this
welcome
blade.
to another episode of Random Rants with three guys who know a little bit about everything. We have Mukbang Jeff. We have Juan the Don. I'm sorry, he wants to be called Jay now. He's officially Jay. People, we cannot call him Juan.
Oh, you have
Even
to
though
don
you're,
him.
yeah, even though you hear me refer to him as Juan, it's
All the time.
blasphemous. Yeah, he's actually Jay.
He's literally the only person in my circle that calls me Juan, outside of like my aunt calls me Juan
What he call
Carlos.
you? He's calling you Juan or Juan.
Juan. One,
Nah,
the number one.
yeah, just
No, one,
Juan.
like
Juan.
WON.
Yeah, and actually, no, now it's
Juan.
official. I'm gonna start calling you Juan. Juan Hidalgo. Oh shoot, I just gave out your whole government name. It's over. They
No,
found you, son.
no, I get rid of that shit. God
Well,
damn.
it's on the screen, so
Oh
Yeah,
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 there's that.
there's that. Yeah,
Save me the edit.
there is that. So yeah, so
Blade, man.
let's talk about Blade and this PG-13 rated. Hey Jeff, I already know. So we'll start with you. Like, what are you thinking? What's going on?
uh
PG-13.
yeah, it's a terrible idea. It's terrible.
In,
It's like
like in Jeff format is I hated it. I just can't stand it. Think it's a bad idea. But I know you have a reason. Go ahead. Method to
it's like we see already a lot of vampire movies where everyone's just turning into pixie dust. You know, it's like imagine like when we were talking about Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat is a PG-13 movie. Like you're gonna be like, what the blink blank? You know, can't curse, but it's like, especially because it was already done a certain way. And I think also what I don't like about it is because, not trying to sound too political, but it just feels like a societal kind of thing, like, oh, we can't show this, we can't show that, but we can show this and show that. And like for me, I feel like the way that the story has always been told, comics or whatever, and everything like that, there's certain things you shouldn't change and elements about it. Like, we get that already. We get the pixie dust and the fairy freaking little flying things and all that. Like, I don't want to see that.
we'll get
I
look,
want to
all
see
right. So
people's head get chopped off.
yeah, we're gonna get deep into it because I definitely have something to say. Just don't
So what do
forget
you
it.
think?
Go ahead. I want you to go ahead, one. That I'm really curious. I want you to go ahead.
I'm okay with it.
You okay with PG-13?
Yeah,
Like,
I think one, and put this in the back of a shirt. And Kevin Feige, we believe. First of all, he hasn't been wrong, so there's no reason to doubt him. So I got to give him the benefit of the doubt. And on top of that, I think that there's a track record of modern PG-13 movies being as dark as you want it to be. Especially if you look at like The Dark Knight, very dark film, PG-13. Um, and with the restrictions there is with rated R movies, I think that it's understandable from a business perspective as well. For a lot of countries now allowing rated R movies, a lot of parents wouldn't allow their kids, so that's laws benefit both ways.
And it's funny because that's I literally agree with both of y'all, right? It's kind of like you used to Blade a certain way. Like when you think Blade, the the modern fan, the casual fan, we only know him from the movies. You know, Wesley Snipes Blade, right? Like the blood, the vampire, the cursing, like like all that stuff that goes along with being a murderous, hero. It's the same thing with I guess with Morbius, right? Like it's a vampire. He's a vampire itself, and I don't know what Morbius rating is gonna be, but I would imagine you have to kind of have that same type of of blood and like goriness that kind of goes along with like the vampire stories. What's Daybreak? Daybreak? No, what is it? With 2020, the one in when then
28 days. 28
28,
days.
not 28 days. That's the horror movie. What is that movie, Jeff? One like where they're in Alaska and they have no
Oh
life.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
know
they
what I'm talking
have
about,
no
right?
yeah, they have
They have
no
no life.
life
Oh,
for yeah.
Yeah, and that it's that's kind of what you want from like Blade,
what was
but
40 days, 40 nights, or something like that?
40 days, 40 nights. That's
Yeah.
it. Like that's kind of what you like. That's that feel you want from Blade, right? Like you want that dark, you know, uh, gut tearing, gory film.
But I think we can still have that though.
I think you can have it. It's not, but I don't think it's gonna be any like
Not
blood
because you can still
really.
no, you can still have blood. You can still have blood. You just it's just the way you do the blood. You can't rip somebody's organs out, but you could still have blood. Blade. I mean, Dark Knight had plenty of blood. You know,
Dark Knight was a hard. It was a hard.
they
It
killed
pushed that hard PG-13
remember that guy who got
rating.
killed with a pencil there and
Yeah,
then. Um,
but you cut
so
away from stuff like that too. Like
yeah,
they usually cut
exactly.
away from like super gory stuff. So to your point, Jeff, yeah, they can. I know one of the negatives is they're gonna most likely burst into flames or turn into dust, right?
But
And
that's
we
the
haven't
lore
really
though. But
seen,
that's the
yeah,
lore.
yeah. If because look, all we need, honestly, Jeff, if you think about it, all you really need from Blade is a dark fantasy movie. It has to be dark and it has to be fantasy because you obviously have vampires and stuff.
What about that underworld life? What about the drugs, this, that, and so forth?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you look
That
into that like you
that
can
is
still
different.
have that. You just won't have the
I
opening scene where she's giving fellatio to a guy. I mean, that won't be there.
well, that's not
You
the
know,
drugs though. Yeah, like that's
maybe
that.
that won't be there.
But I think
Or the famous blood rave scene. That was awesome.
yeah, I don't think
I'm
they're gonna
not
put
sure.
like I think it's gonna be different. I think honestly we can't go by the movies, but the underground world, what you're talking about, Jeff, I
Mm.
get that part. But I think man, look,
You can
I
still be
think
sexy because
Kevin
vampires are
Feige,
sexy.
Kevin Feige, the fact that you can have a dark fantasy world and you could depict drugs and stuff like that. Okay, first of all, like Black Widow is a hit. Like she's an assassin, right? We have a literal assassin in the world of Marvel, and she comes off exceptionally well. I'm with you. Like at first, I was worried when I first saw. I'm like, oh man, it's not gonna be rated R, but I'm like, a hard rated PG-13 movie is gonna work extremely well for Blade because he needs to be repopularized. Like he needs to be able to they're trying to do it from a business perspective, and Jeff, you're not gonna like it. Obviously, is to try to
Mhm.
get other people, like everybody else into the movie theaters to get it. And with Marshall Ali, like he is a household name, but I don't think people buy him as Blade right now. Like I think that you buy his ability, like he can act. He's gonna be able to act out all the dramatical parts of Blade, and they're gonna have to take the John Wick approach. And I don't want you gonna like this, the John Wick approach with the fighting scenes, or they could just go full on stuff, like full on stunt double and just have somebody else doing the kicking and punching. So I think in order to I guess minimize some of the things that we're going to miss about Wesley Snipes, they have to erase Wesley Snipes. Like they have to erase him. He can't be in our brains. He can't like he's embedded in us, but it's old. Like that's what they're going for. Like this is definitely modern day, a fantasy story. That's what I think Blade is going to be.
Yeah, I mean,
Dark fantasy.
and it doesn't affect. It won't affect the story. The story will still be
At least
whatever
we
it
hope
wants
not.
to.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, a rating is not going to affect the story. I mean, it would affect the story. My bad.
yeah.
And I guess it could in a sense you could, um, but it wouldn't affect the way you deliver it though. I mean, it's in a sense that
And it's see
in a
it's
general no in a
That's a
general no
hard one, man.
no
that's
in a
hard.
general no
Yeah,
in a general sense because um the overall plot doesn't have to revolve around gore.
yeah. No,
You
and
know what
that's
I'm
the
saying?
thing. So Jeff, you ultimately what are you most afraid of? You most afraid of them not being able to because it's Disney, them not being able to capture the underworld like that. that drug world, that underworld, that type of depiction, or is it the blood? Because I
I
know I I kind of know
it's
what you.
both too,
Yeah.
and I just feel like, there's so many vampire movies that like come out, and
Mm,
how are you gonna really make it stand out? I think the only I don't know. I think it was rated R. Was Underworld vampire movie
let's
was
see.
rated R. But um, it, I I understand the business side of it too. But at the same time, why there's so Blade was successful as a rated R movie, and then now
It was the first
living
of
in
its
a
kind.
different time. Yeah, now we're in
Yeah.
a different time. Years later, why can't you recreate a rated R movie with now modern technology that's going on with films and CGI and everything like that
Yeah, and
to
Underworld
give.
was rated R, Jeff.
Hey, there you go. And it's like, and they and that, how many they did of those? Like, come
Yeah,
on.
I
But
think it was
what
still
can you
going.
not do in a PG-13 that you can't do in a rated R though? Because you could do drugs, you could do blood, you could still kill,
But
you could still curse, you could even
I
still
think you
drop
limit,
you could even,
but
it's
one,
just
there's a
but you
limited.
limit
know you're
though.
limited though.
There's a limit, yeah, but
because it was the
you
reason.
can even
I
drop
give you an example.
F-bombs.
Do you think Deadpool? All right, so I'm glad you mentioned it because there is a limit. Like while I agree with you, I
Hmm.
think that Blade being PG-13 is in the end is not. I don't think it's gonna matter that much because we have to kind of erase, like that Blade from our mind and the comics itself. Um, First of all, we have to dive like a little bit deeper into the comics to truly understand like does a PG-13 Blade totally like impact the story that we tell in the comics? And for the most part, the answer is no. Like to simply say no. But what Jeff's concern is just that Deadpool. Could you do a PG-13 Deadpool movie? Because the question would be the same thing. Why? Well, what would be the difference between a PG-13 Deadpool movie and a rated R Deadpool movie?
Well, the
Because Kevin
characters are
Feige's
also different though too. You
the
know, um, the Blade from the 1990s movie, he dropped a lot of F-bombs. Not necessarily that the character always dropping F-bombs.
yeah.
Versus Deadpool, that is part of his character. So I think there's a big difference there. You know, and in general, a rated just because the movie's rated R doesn't mean it's gonna be a good movie.
No, no, we're not. We remember we're
Yeah.
not talking
No,
about
I'm
good
just
from
saying that
bad.
out loud too. I'm
Yeah,
just saying guys,
yeah, yeah,
just say that out loud.
yeah.
And it doesn't make a better movie for a rated R movie. I mean, it doesn't make a worse movie neither, but either way,
That's true.
just to say that in general, not to say that you guys saying that.
Yeah.
Um, so I think
Because
the characters are different to answer your question.
I so this is the thing. I'm gonna tell you like why I feel like the whole the rated like a genuine concern. Like I think we all agree, right? There is a natural concern with Blade not being rated R because one of the problems I had was with Wolverine. Wolverine not being rated R, the first
Hmm.
movie, it bothered me because of who he was. Like in the comics, that dude is gory. He curses. He slices and dices. Like he is everything that you like. He's the Wolverine was the cool hero for a lot of people because of all that he was against the grain. He wasn't a Boy Scout that Scott was. Scott meaning Cyclops. And but Logan, they took it to another level. They made it rated R, and you got to see a difference. And of course, having different writers obviously matters. Like the writers matters so much. But I think that rated R does kind of do something a little bit different because Logan was extremely successful, despite Wolverine being, the arguably the most popular. Well, I guess not despite it, right? I guess that's probably why, right? Because he was super popular, so you can kind of push a rated R limit because people are gonna come see it anyway. With Blade, he's not very well known. Like I don't think I don't think he's known in the what's the term I'm looking for? He's known like with like people today. Like, I don't think a lot of people know who Blade is because of what Marvel has done already. You kind of got to see the same repetitive heroes over and over and over and over and over. I don't think people really know who Blade is, so you have to reintroduce him different.
Well, it's
Yeah,
a good time for them to reintroduce him different
Yeah.
because of all the Marvel films and everything that came out. So it's like, but
So you think they
that
should
would be
take the
for
next
casual.
step? Yeah, casual. That was what I'm looking for. So you think they should take the next step and make it rated R? I'm okay. Like Kevin Feige, like dude, kind of has to get the benefit of the doubt, and he is going to do Deadpool rated R. So he's what he really said in the interview was when I guess they asked him, and I'm paraphrasing, 100% paraphrasing. You can check the full thing out on Extra Point Sucks on Facebook. We kind of broke it down there a little bit more. He paraphrased, like basically saying, look, the stuff that he's read about all the Marvel movies that he wanted to do, all the Marvel characters, the only one that kind of stood out that needed to be rated R was Deadpool, and he hasn't read a script that warranted an R
Right,
rating film yet.
right.
So
And he
we have
promised
to
that
give
that
him
was
the
going to be
benefit of the doubt.
established too. That was already established, so he didn't want to touch that. So
And Blade doesn't count as established because it was so long ago.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
Blade does
Yeah.
not
So
count
he's
as established.
seeing. So he's like he said in his own words. There's not a story that he feels that they can't convert to modern films and to match the totality to everything else. And you touched on Logan, and even though, yeah, you're correct, rated R did help, but also it being a good story helped, because
I mean
if it was a
that
rated
kind of goes
R
without
and people
saying.
started killing and Ruben was skipping along, it could still be a rated R, him skipping along wearing a tutu, and it would be a good movie.
Yeah,
so
because I think
so
rated R
I
just
think
gives you more freedom. Like it's
yeah,
kind of like with the like the
There's
the
not a
rated.
lot of limitations, man. That's the thing.
Yeah,
I just
limitations
honestly,
for weaklings.
the freak out of here.
You get, no,
Because that
I'm not even joking. I'm that serious,
nah
because you give me a story to write and put limitations on it, and I could make a good story.
that
So
that's
that
creativity. I get that.
yeah.
he's betting on himself, just like I could bet on myself too.
But
I'm not even
Not betting
joking.
on it. Kevin Feige not betting on himself. He already
Yeah,
has
he's
like
betting on his
his.
team. He's betting him and his
But
team.
but the thing is, he can do it because he could just say no. Like
Yeah.
I don't because this is the thing. What would be really betting on his team and not going against? See, I think it's the other way. You said restrictions are for weaklings, right? I think that's what you just said.
Yeah,
That's Disney being the weaklings because they're restricting their movies to being what they want because of their brand. So Disney would be considered the weaklings in this case, not the person that would want the rated R Blade. In fact, the rated R superhero movie is still Blade kind of set it off, but we still don't have a lot of them. Like what I'm saying, like it's we still don't have a lot of adult, and you don't. Granted, you don't need it, but Blade in the comics is not for children.
I was gonna
Like
say that.
Blade in the comics is not for children. He is not a children's hero. So Juan, to your point, absolutely yes. Blade being PG-13, I'm 100% there with you. You could do it fine, but at the end of the day, Blade is not. He's not made for. He's not made for kids. So if anybody's the restrictions, which I'm agreeing with you, like the restriction thing, it'd be Disney because they don't want to take that next step into, you know, and they don't have to. Let's not get it twisted. Like when you're the boss, when you're the big dog, you can do whatever you want to do, and you still gonna watch my stuff.
well, I disagree, because I think Kevin is showing that with his creativity, he could make a great movie,
No,
despite
nobody's
not
denying that.
despite having the limitations of being a PG-13. So I think being the weakling is the person who will give the person you if you get the rated R, making the movie will be much easier. You have no restrictions, you have no limitations. You could go crazy all you want to, but it's an easier route to do than the
And
rated PG-13.
see, going crazy, that's super subjective because all of Disney movies is going crazy. Things blowing up, like fantastical
Well, going crazy
stories.
with F bombs, going
Um,
crazy with, fellatio, whatever you want.
yeah, but I
Um,
mean,
and
I don't. It just that's just I guess that's truly in terms of like subjectiveness because again, ultimately what you're trying to establish with a rated R isn't oh you're gonna curse more. It's more blood and bodies. Like when you do that when you do that PG-13
agreement.
rating, like it's not so much as the language, it's the blood and the bodies, and it's the content in which you you're able to present. So that's what that limitation does. Like it's not so much as oh you just want to curse and have sex scenes because you can have a rated R movie that doesn't have any sex scenes and the hero itself doesn't necessarily curse. What that rated R does is you can have more bodies and more blood. And honestly, that stuff really does sell. Like it does help. People love seeing blood and guts. Like it
Exactly.
works. Like people love it. Man, Logan, great story, but man, if you cut away from every kill scene, like
Hmm.
every kill scene, it would not have felt the same. We've seen that in a movie before. I can't remember
Which
what
is
movie it was where they cut away from kill scenes and it took away from it. Like, you kind of want to see a body drop. You kind of want to see that extra drip of crimson. So I love that. Like I love the possibility of Blade being rated R, but I think it also says that they may be going towards a TV series and not a movie.
didn't they already do a TV series?
They did. It was with the dude from the not from the locks. It was the rapper man who played him actually.
I remember that. I remember they did it for what, a couple seasons or whatever,
Yeah,
and then it was just
it was
trash.
terrible. It was
Wasn't that
terrible. Hey,
like
Juan is back. We're talking about that I feel like that Blade is going maybe moving towards the series, and Jeff said didn't make one. I'm like, yeah, it was horrible. It was the dude from the Locks, right? Is either from the Locks, not the Locks. What's the other rap group with oh my god, who played Blade? You seen the TV series one?
I've never seen that. No.
You should have. Don't watch it
No.
because it's
it's
terrible.
bad?
Yeah, don't watch it.
The
It's
trailer
terrible.
was too bad. I didn't even want to
It was
watch it.
absolutely
The
dreadful.
only vampires I watch on TV is Buffy and Angel, and they definitely very good. I rewatched it after 20 years, and it still holds up for being a old show.
Well, you
Yeah,
know what, man? It's a lot of Sticky Fingers. That's who played Blade.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I
Sticky
didn't
Fingers.
know Buffy
Yeah, Onyx.
was a considered a comedy.
You mean like the comic or the
No,
comic?
the show.
The
It
show?
says
Because
it says
yeah,
comedy.
one
But
the movie was funny. Like she was a
no,
ditz.
the show is funny, but I
Yeah.
guess it's not. It's funny through
Oh, you saying like
characters.
it actually says like it's depicted truly as a comedy.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's
Mm.
because it's funny through the characters. It's not funny through narration, which is my type of comedy. I don't like when comedy is too. It's a different story. I want to jump off real,
Whoa,
but
got a rant
when
randomly. Come on.
yeah, when a movie when a random comedy is just too cheesy, it's just I don't like that.
Comedies like see,
Yeah,
man.
when yeah.
Okay, so I super bad. Cheesy or not cheesy?
I don't think I've seen that.
You see
I think
Superbad?
no.
I think
We got
your
10
homework.
minutes. We got 10 minutes left.
That's fine. Your homework tonight is to watch Superbad.
I can't believe you didn't see.
Yeah, me
Superbad.
too. I thought you saw it one. I'm actually shocked because I thought you would have seen it by now.
The only cheesy movie that I give a pass is Don't Be a Menace. And that's super cheesy.
Well, it's because it's made to be cheesy.
That's
Like
what I'm talking about when I
that is
say cheesy.
slapstick.
Like,
Oh, okay, you talk about that type of comedy. Yo,
Yeah.
you need to sit down and watch Superbad.
Yeah, you do.
You have to sit down and watch
That is
Superbad.
like the
Pineapple
epitome of
Express
what you wanted your
cringe.
senior year to be.
Yeah,
Pineapple Express cringe.
Pineapple Express cringe. I think
Yeah,
it's funny.
guy running around a thong. Come on now.
I mean, that's just comedy. That's comedy, man. That's
Unless you're
extreme.
wearing a
People
thong
find
for
it
good
funny.
luck.
No, you need to do your homework
like,
though.
Like they do in baseball.
Look, freaking Superbad is like Jeff says exactly what you expect your senior year to be in high
Yeah,
school.
but I'm
You
not
have,
into comedy, so I
yeah, I
haven't
know,
watched a lot
but
of comedies.
you should. And then you seen Life though. Martin and Martin Eddie Murphy. I mean, it's
Yeah.
old, so you probably won't remember it, but that's one of the great comedies. This movie that just came out with these kids. I forgot the name of it.
I've
I
seen
just
the one they
saw
go
it.
to Vegas. I've seen that.
The
A Hangover.
We got to get you a little more. Like you don't watch comedy, but like we got to get Jeff in the anime. We got to get you in the comedy.
Oh man.
We got to get you in the comedy. I want to start another. I want to start another podcast. Send another link because I
Okay.
want to talk. I want to ask y'all about something else. Two things actually.
All right.
All right.
We can wrap this one up. But it's gonna
All
take
right.
3 minutes because of the converting. Then I get the link.
That's fine. So if you want, like, if you want the full episode, just blah, 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 we'll just do that over.
Okay.
If you want the full episode of Random Rants, make sure you go ahead and.
Come on, give us some more energy. Come on
What do you
now.
mean? Nah, I don't have energy right now. Like this is me trying
Jeff,
to plug a
What
show.
what is it? What is
Give him
it?
the
What
Jeff
is it
I
that
don't
you
energy.
say?
I don't
Give him the
even
Jeff
know.
energy.
I know it's a podcast that we have that's gonna have all the full things on it. Like I don't know more to say. I just brought all the energy and I threw the entirety of the thing. Go ahead, Jeff. Being energy.
All right.
This is just like basically saying this is just a clip. Get the whole
Don't
thing.
edit this
to the
out because the
podcast.
people need to know. Go ahead.
People need to know.
Yep. Go ahead, Jeff.
If you guys want to go ahead and check out the full version of our podcast, please tune into our YouTube channel, Random Rants. Until next time.
iTunes, where you can find all your other podcasts and stuff. You know, you got Apple iTunes, you got Spotify, you got YouTube, you got Patreon, you got all that stuff. Random Rants, we're everywhere. Random Rants Part 2 is up. Patreon. And Patreon is funny. Bro, nobody wants to pay anything for you. Nobody. We're nobodies right now. Y'all don't have to sign the Patreon because we don't have any. If y'all want to support us, just freaking click and subscribe and like and share and talk about us. Tell us how good we are or how bad. Like, we don't give a freak. Just comment.
Or send me $5 to my Cash App.
Oh, Cash App.
There's that.
Cash App is great. All right, y'all. Till next time.
PR, y'all.
Peace. Y'all niggas ain't gonna say bye. Oh, sure, I can say niggas. Y'all people ain't gonna say bye.
Hey. Now I have a good intro and outro with Mike say something dumb.
When you trying to end the chat and it won't end.
It won't end. Like, yo, they didn't say nothing.